If you want to know the one thing to always do while you're learning about other investments, or you want to get started, or you want to just grow your wealth in some way, shape, or form, I wanted to talk to you about index funds today. So, index funds is kind of like the goated investing, in my opinion, goated investing method, if you will. So, I wanted to talk about what they are, and then I'll talk about why you should have them while you're learning more in other areas, other investments. I think it's perfectly normal and perfectly fine, but I always want to remind you to stay in the index. So, what I wanted to talk about was what they are first. So, you may have heard of the phrases S&P 500 or the NASDAQ 100 or the Dow Jones. All of these are baskets of companies, investing benchmarks. So the S&P 500, these are the 500 largest companies in the US. The NASDAQ 100 are the 100 largest companies in the US, excluding everything financials like banks and stuff. And the Dow Jones is also some of the biggest companies in the US, okay? So when people say like the market is down, the market is up, they're usually talking about one of these three. So like the technology market, so like the NASDAQ is mainly tech, Facebook, Tesla, Apple, right? They may say like the technology market is going up or down or sideways or whatever. They're usually talking about the NASDAQ 100 or the S&P 500 when people say the market, okay? So these are like the investing benchmarks. And then there are a lot of other companies out there that basically say, hey, like I'm going to basically copy what the S&P 500 does every day. Because the S&P 500, sometimes companies change out, sometimes companies get too big, so they need to like scale back. Just because like these 500 companies have different like investing percentages within them. So like the top 10 can have probably like 20% of the fund, then the 80% of the fund could be the other 490 or something. So the S&P 500 is kind of like an always revolving group of investments. So what index funds do, so like VOO, SPY, FX, AIX, if you have Fidelity, like these are all examples of index funds because Vanguard or Robinhood or Fidelity or whoever may say, hey, we want to have an index fund that copies the S&P 500. And it's usually pretty cool because it's really nice. And then the other nice thing is that the fee is only like 0.03% or 0.05% or something like that. So it's really small, really minimal. Some funds have like a 1 point something percent fee. So these index funds are superior just because the fee is so low. So that's what they are. Now I wanted to talk about like why they're so important. So you should always default to the index funds, okay? So make this, if you haven't started investing already, I would probably make one of those three that I mentioned your first investment. So always make index funds your default. Designate a small percentage of your paycheck, 5%, 10%, 12%, whatever, to doing index funds. It can be within your retirement account. It could be outside. I always recommend trying to max out that retirement account just because that has tax benefits. But try your best to push your limit a little bit. So whatever you decide to do, keep it consistent because if, like for example, you wanted to venture into individual stocks, like sure, that's great. I have a couple, honestly. So if you wanted to invest in individual stocks, that's fine because what I recommend is always like when you're in index funds, like invest in them. Like you already know all that you need to know about them to invest in them. So invest in them. Like you understand them enough already. So sign up for a brokerage account if you haven't already and start investing in them. And then while you're earning that money, while you're earning the interest and the compounding growth of the index funds, then from there, I would recommend to learn about the companies, learn about the top positions in the index funds, learn about the fees, learn everything that you can about just investing in general and like the businesses that you're investing in. And then if you wanted to invest in individual stocks, you can. This is investing in index funds has made me a better investor in individual stocks because I know what to look for now. Also, if you wanted to invest in real estate, this is also Very useful just because if you invest in either crowdfunded real estate or actual real estate, and when I say crowdfunded, I mean like Fundrise or something where you basically just like deposit money and they do everything else. This also makes you better at investing into this because like this is way less liquid. Like they usually hold on to it. You usually don't have access to your money as quick. And the fees are probably higher, but like you can still do this. If you wanted to do like crypto or whatever, this also helps you with that just because crypto is pretty volatile. Some index funds some days can be volatile, like the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, the Dow, depending on what's going on in the world, geopolitical, whatever it may be, like depending on what's going on, these index funds may be volatile up and down, and it'll prepare you for any other type of volatility like crypto or individual stocks. And then as well, like if you wanted to invest in really anything else like options, or I'm just going to put more like sophisticated options. I'm talking contracts, not like prediction market contracts. I don't think that's a good investment, but more sophisticated options, right? So like commodities or whatever you want to do, whatever like people on Wall Street are doing, like index funds will help you with that as well, just because you're in the realm of investing, you're learning as much as you can and you're learning the lingo. So if you want to do any other sophisticated options, you can, but always default to this. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about is like when you do venture into one of these things, like if you are investing, let's say 10% of your paycheck into index funds, keep doing this. Do not stop. Don't like lift your foot off the gas pedal. Keep it going. And then if you get a raise or whatever, or like if you find more money that you can invest in other stuff, keep this going. And once you kind of have this mastered, then from there you can go into individual stocks or crowdfunded real estate or cryptocurrency, whatever it may be. But I always recommend keeping your baseline and just like staying loyal to index funds, like because they save you so much grief and headache, and you don't have to worry about any individual investment. Because again, like the good thing about index funds is like if it's the NASDAQ 100 or the S&P 500, you have 100 or 500 companies that are going up and down literally every day. Some of them are doing layoffs, some of them are hiring, some of them are growing, some of them are slowing down, some of them are affected by AI. Every single one of them is affected in one way, shape, or form, and every single one of them is either growing or not growing. So the good thing though is they're usually the top in the industry. So like the NASDAQ is the top 100, the biggest 100 companies. They didn't get there for no reason. The top 500 companies in literally the US out of like, I think there's like 3 million businesses in the US, okay? So you're investing in the top 500, like that's probably pretty good, okay? They're probably doing something right. So no need to be scared about the index funds, the major ones, such as the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ 100, and just Google like index funds based off of X, based off of S&P 500, based off of NASDAQ 100. Just kind of Google that, explore that a little bit, and start investing. The last thing is index funds are kind of a failure safety net. So if you do invest in crypto or you do invest in more sophisticated options, you still have your index funds to fall back on because the index funds are literally earning money while you sleep. They're growing, they're doing their best, and even though there is like turmoil and there may be down days, sad days, whatever, if you're in index funds, I think the stat was if you're in an index fund for 10 plus years, you literally have a 99 plus percentage chance of your money growing over that time. So it's literally like almost guaranteed. Like there's no guarantees, but that's one of the safest ways to grow your money is index funds, and just stay in it. Don't think of it as a temporary thing. Stay in it, committed, because that's how you're going to build up to 4 digits, the thousands, to 5 digits in your bank account, the tens of thousands, 20, 90,000, to 6 figures. Like that's going to feel so good. And then from there, it's just going to compound and compound. So always stay loyal to index funds. You can venture into the other things if you wanted to, but I always recommend index funds first. Stay loyal to this, and you'll be just fine. So hope this helps. Let me know in the comments what questions you have on index funds as well, because I would love to help with that. And let me know what you're investing in the next one. Thanks.